everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to our new moon in Cancer at 4 degrees. This is such beautiful energy. It's such beautiful energy. Like this is astrology that we really, like, we couldn't have asked for better astrology. We couldn't have asked for better astrology. Like the title states, this is like a lazy river. And it's funny because I'd thought about, I was like, this is like bumper bowling. I said to myself, so like, there's been energy like that before. So I went to my YouTube and it was December. It was the lunation in Capricorn. And I put the link for that below. That was bumper bowling. So I want you to think back to December 2024 and think what was coming up for you then. Because this is a little bit, astrology is just cycle upon cycle upon cycle upon cycle upon cycle. Like we have Jupiter, our abundant, gregarious, thick, delicious, delightful planet in Cancer, in the sign of, conjunct this new moon. So this is a season of endings and beginnings of a Jupiter transit, highlighting new moon energy, the new moon. When you have new moons, and welcome, if this is your first time here, let me introduce myself and the cafe. My name is Sarah. It is so nice to meet you. This is my Multidimensional Caffè, where it's just you and I having coffee, tea. I'm having a cup of calm right now, a traditional medicinal cup of calm. Having coffee, tea. We're talking about the planets, talking about the astrology. The 3 pillars of my practice is really leadership, personal growth, and development, astrology, woo-woo, spiritual practices, the metaphysicals, and having a creative space to express ourselves. So you are very, very welcome here. I'm so happy that you're here. Please subscribe to the channel and be here at the Multidimensional Caffè. You can expect all signs readings pretty much at least once a week. We go live on Monday and we chit chat. We're just a very supportive community around here. So welcome. So now let's break this down a little bit. Jupiter is ending and beginning a 1-year cycle. Jupiter in Gemini, now Jupiter's in Cancer. Jupiter won't go into Leo until next June, I think it was. I have a whole video on that. The lunation, we're also connecting the energy from December to now. And when we have new moons, it's when the sun, this is the sun and the moon, are conjunct, the same point in the sky, at the same time. This is at 4 degrees. The exact conjunction of Jupiter and the sun is the day before this. That's going to happen on the 24th, and that's going to be at 3 degrees of Cancer. But it's close enough to be like, this is a super planet. This is ridiculous. The planets, they don't even fit together on the board. I don't even know how this is going to go. That's absurd. You can't mess this up. So the reason I called it that was bumper bowling and this is a lazy river, it's important to note that bumper bowling back then in December, I'll speak from my statements. That's what we do at the cafe. We speak from my statements. My entire life fell apart. My entire life in December started on the day that Mars went retrograde, or the beginning of December. I had to leave an entire paradigm behind because it was not for my greatest good. It was sometimes 6 out of 10, sometimes 9.5 out of 10, sometimes 4 out of 10. But I had to leave everything behind. It's kind of like that parable of get off the train as soon as you know that you're on the wrong train, because it's more expensive to get back to ground zero, to where it is that you started. You have to be, but this was the important part. The second I decided, and I said, God, I surrender. I will leave. I will shift my whole life. Everything became so effortless and so easy. Everything happened like this, like clockwork. It was, I made the joke back then, it was if a soap opera writer was writing my life. It was like, this person helped, this happened, that move just happened here. The first of the years when Sybil came into my life. Everything happened in such a way that it was just so bumper bowling. It was so supported. So I say that to reference that it might not be like all love and light what you're experiencing. So that bumper bowling and this lazy river, it might not be exactly, when you co-create with the universe, it's not like you write something down in your manifestation journal and you're like, ta-da, God, go give it to me. You're saying, okay, I'm going to reps and sets. I'm going to do what it is that I need to do. I'm going to lean in to whatever it is that I have to do to get there. But the energy that's available to us, be aware of what is coming up for you. Where is 4 degrees of Cancer in your chart? Where is that? This is the tarot card that represents first decan of Cancer energy. This is beautiful. This is partnerships, but it's also like connected to legalities. Sometimes I've read other books that say that this is more of an it's more of an indicator of marriage than even the lovers, because it's like the blessed. It's just what's coming up for you. What's coming up for you? What area of your life would you like to plant this seed? Because we plant seeds, or what they call manifestation, around new moons, where it's the perfect time. It's fertile soil. We couldn't have asked for more fertile soil at 4 degrees of Cancer energy. So be super aware of where that is. If this is brand new language to you, my Foundations in Flow, it's my astrology for real life that can walk you through how to download your own birth chart, what these houses mean, what any of this means, and it gives practical manifestation. I have a free video, practical manifestation technique, but in Foundations in Flow, we have scripting 101, what to do between the weeks between new moons and full moons, practical full moon release technique, and what to do between full moons and new moons. These are foundations for you to flow with, to integrate into your life. We take these tools of astrology and we put them in our toolbox so we can be efficient in our processes. You can manifest anywhere you want, anywhere. But wherever Cancer energy is fallen in your chart, 4 degrees specifically, that's where you just could really focus. And we've been talking about how this is such a choice point. Why do you say that, Sarah? Because we have Saturn and Neptune sitting right here, conjunct, not by the second, but are they by degree? Saturn is at 1 degree and Neptune is at 2 degrees of Aries, sitting on this axis. We talked about in Cancer season, the Cancer solstice, that choice point. It's God's quarterly, going from here till here. So what seeds were you planting in Aries season? Maybe look at the Capricorn solstice. What seeds were you planting back then? Wherever this is really happening in your chart, this is a contention point, a squaring to say, I'm either leaning into this or I need to make a change. Pluto and Aquarius over here, retrograde. This came up a lot for the Mars reading that I just did, the Mars and Virgo reading that I just did. I'm going to put the link for that below. I'm going to put the link for part 1, and then 2 and 3 are linked to that. But Mars, this little assertive guy over here, in Virgo energy, this is sextiling this new moon over here. So, okay, let me break it down. Neptune wants you to be Delulu. Saturn isn't actually going to let that happen. These two conjunct say, we've got big goals. We've got big things to do. But when we start to actually break them down into daily actions and activities, they're not so big. They're not so big. So it's kind of what was coming up for you in December when you felt like you were on stage and you felt like everybody was watching and you felt like things were going on. It was more public, especially for Aries rising. But Mars. So, okay. We'll break this down. Sun, Moon, Jupiter, conjunct. This is a seed point. Mars is a big participant in this. We're sextiling. Mars is sextiling over here. Mars is at 4 degrees of Virgo, sextiling. Good, workable energy. But you got to participate in it. Sextiles, it's not like a trine where it's passive. This is active energy. I have an entire program on Mastering Mars. It's called Mastering Mars. When you are keen to work with this planet, when you're keen to work with those cycles, when you're keen to stop being controlled by your impulses and start to work with divine masculine energy. I don't care if you are feminine or masculine, we can all utilize this energy. And what's fascinating is December 2024 is when we had that Mars retrograde, when everything kind of went a little bit like, so look at that. See how many different lenses and flows we can go through? So we have this big seed planted over here. That's that choice point between the seeds that we planted in Aries season, maybe some of the decisions that we made back in December. This says to me, with Mars in the mix, whatever daily activities, whatever practical thing Mars in Virgo wants to do, Jupiter says, make it the forever goal. Make it the big thing. I don't know about you, but every time I go small-minded, the whole thing falls apart. The universe will not let me get off of the train of my highest timeline. Will not let me. And I love that, and I'm so grateful. And I've talked about that with manifesting certain things or whatever we're calling in, these big things. For a lot of people, Jupiter in Cancer alone is about home and home awaiting. And it's been very true for myself. One of my biggest, let me rephrase that. What is most important to me right now and what I am calling in is my home. And so when I say highest timeline, whenever I said, oh, no, God, it's here, things would kind of crumble or fall apart. And then I'm like, oh, no, but it's here. Things would kind of crumble and fall apart. My friend, I can draw the blueprints for the house. I do it all the time. So living into that vibration, living into co-creating, Lilith in Scorpio, leaning into allowing things to be metaphysical, allowing them to be practically metaphysical, allowing things to really birth themselves from the inside out, become the version of myself that can hold that vibration, become the version of myself that works from home, that has a thriving business, that has all these things. But am I really and we talked about it on the live. I'm going to put the Monday live that we talked about it. We called it the choice point, and are we just doing the best we can with the tools that we have, or are we using the tools that we have? Are we using them? Do you know how many times I've looked at my videos and I'm like, you've got the tripod there. You can't believe how amateur you look. And so what I did, I started a little fund for the beautiful Canva ring light that I'm going to purchase when I have the funds for it, with all the beautiful generous donations that I receive from my community and the money that I receive from my client sessions and for doing this good work and for everything. I just put it together and started that and got excited about that. But until that time, I'm going to shamelessly utilize my tripod because it does the job. And it's the tool that I have right now. And it's gotten me from A to exactly this moment that I am. So I have no shame about that. The moment that is not in my paradigm anymore, it will not be in my paradigm. But I'm not going to not record the videos because of that. I'm going to keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing to connect with you, my friend, across time and space. So are you making it work, or are you using it until it is bloodied and beaten and broken? There'll be a moment where that happens. But until that day, I'm not going to judge myself for doing the reps and sets. I'm going to keep showing up. So very different energies. Very, very different energies. At this point, I'm going to give you the times and the dates of this new moon. And as always, let me know if you are in a different time zone than the ones that I list here, and I will put the date and the time for this new moon. It's the exact moment that the sun and the moon are conjunct at the same point. So Eastern Standard Time, this happens on the 25th of June at 6:31. This is military time, so that's AM. For Melbourne and the Gold Coast, this happens on the 25th of June at 20:31. Central Standard Time, 25th of June, 5:31. Mountain Standard Time, 25th of June, 4:31. And Pacific Standard Time, the 25th of June at 3:31. Those are all AM, so very first thing in the morning. Very first thing in the morning. One other really exciting component about this new moon is Uranus, our galactic awakening planet, is at 29 degrees of Taurus at the anaretic degree. Uranus is going to go into Gemini in July next month. So they call that, the crisis degree, the critical degree, the anaretic degree, sometimes the shadow degree. However you'd like to interpret that, it really usually says to me, like poop or get off the pot type energy. Like, are you going to become it or are you going to stay this way? Are you like poop or get off the pot? Very, very blunt energy. So finding exactly where 29 degrees of Taurus falls in your chart, that could be a really wonderful place to say, I got to make a shift. And where does that fall in your chart? Is it in your house of self, where you get to shift, Taurus rising, where you're like, I have to shift to become the version of me that's going to hold the vibration of money, or I'm not going to be able to, or I'm never going to happen, or it's never going to happen. It depends on where this falls in your chart. Is it in your third house? Is it, I have to figure out how to communicate my boundaries and my full self, or I'm never going to be able to negotiate my home or contracts or things like that. Like, the houses go in a sequential order. There's a reason. It's like a journey that we go from Aries all the way over to Pisces. So, and it doesn't have to be, it can be whatever rising sign you have, but the houses themselves, it's a journey. So allowing it to be the journey, endings, beginnings, seed planting, beginnings, endings, beginnings, endings, beginnings, all those fun things. Chiron's been in Aries. I really don't feel as though I need to talk too much about it. If he comes up, he comes up. If he doesn't, he doesn't. We have Mercury at late degrees Cancer, 28 degrees Cancer right over here. And we have Venus in Taurus energy at 19 degrees. So we have Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, South and Chiron and Lilith. And the North Node over here in the House of Soul Purpose, and the South Node over here. Definitely the Mars video could be helpful for this transit, because this Mars transit just went from, oh my God, what's the date? The 17th of June until the 6th of August. So that's a longer transit that we can really look at. This is a year cycle. That's a year and a half cycle. So definitely we have tons of layers and tons of lenses just on my channel alone. Just on my channel alone. So okay, I'm trying to read my own handwriting. So I don't know if you've noticed, but like, I have been attempting to get this finger tattoo. This is the second time. The first time it literally like washed off just because I didn't take the best care of it. My artist, bless his heart and soul, he's like, it's on your finger, so it might not take. So I've been writing like this, like this. I don't know if you can see, I've been writing like this to try to just give it the gentleness. This is a parable. If this doesn't take a second time, I'm good. That's fine. I'm not supposed to have that tattoo there. Totally okay. I'll get it removed or let it look like pen. That's totally fine. Whatever it may be. Que sera, sera. I want you to look at what's happening in your life right now. I want you to really view your life from above. Give yourself a little bit of a life review. And choose wisely. Choose wisely as to where you want to be. Whether it be at the Libra equinox, whether you want it to be in a year from now. For my Cancer Sun, Moon, and Rising, definitely, for my Cancer Sun and my Cancer Rising, definitely do a little bit of, are there any Cancer Moons out there? What is that like? I'm a Capricorn Moon. Yeah, if you have a Cancer Moon, please comment below. What is that like? Like home of a person. That's so nice. I'd love some baked goods from you. That sounds like it would be really comfortable and nice. But yeah, Cancer Sun and Cancer Rising especially, definitely be planting some seeds for a year. A lot of the times in my manifestation book, I do just new moon to new moon. So where do I want to be at the next new moon? Let me get the date for you on that. It's on the 24th of July, new moon in Leo, at 2 degrees. That's wild. That will be pretty much opposite Pluto. There'll be a lot of retrogrades going on at that time. The component that's kind of, I'm trying to think of the way I want to say this. You know, my third pillar of my business and my life is creative expression. And something that, you know, I was chatting with a friend the other day, and, you know, it's something that Lazarus speaks of as well. I'll put the link for Lazarus material. He's a channeler, has been around since the 70s, but Lazarus and my friend had said, you know, fun is the key component to all this. Lazarus says, you know, every person on the planet has 2 jobs: to consciously create their own success and to learn how to have fun. And that's it. So if you could splash a little bit of joy into the soup of your life, a little bit of fun, a little bit of comfort, and maybe really think about what it is that you're calling in and how much joy it's going to bring you. How much good that thing brings you. Even if this is a relationship, for my Capricorn risings, this is in the house of relationships. Like, think of how much fun you're going to have. Think of the joy. Think of the joy. Don't lose the joy. You know, when you're on a lazy river, do you even know what a lazy river is? Have you ever been to a place that has a lazy river? When you're just like sitting in a tube and you're just going around the lazy river. I want you to think of yourself as being on a lazy river right now in your mind's eye. Are you focused on work? Are you focused on helping other people? Or are you present? Are you enjoying the lazy river? Are you looking over to the person that's next to you or the family that's splashing around you and you say, wow, look at that. Look at my chosen people. Look at my family. Look at my friends. Look at the joy that I have. Or maybe you got, you know, big old sunglasses on and a big floppy hat and you're like very in your own vibe and you're like, oh, this feels so good. Because none of this matters if you don't have the safety inside. Truly, none of anything matters if at the end of the day, when you wash the world off your face, you don't feel good about yourself. I want you feeling so good. I want you happy. I want you vibrant. I want you moisturized. And I want you to have people to share it with. I think that's it for now. I think that's it. In the next video, tomorrow's video, or in the link below, depending on when you're watching this, let's get into the all signs reading for this new moon. See you then.